Hello everyone, welcome to Let's Crack UPSC CSE English. About me, I am Sandeep Bhushan and my credentials are I have 8 years of teaching experience for civil services. I teach international relations, internal security and in-depth analysis of the Hindu newspaper. And this video is in regards to how to crack prelims 2020. Before we get into the topic how to crack prelims 2020, there is a notification, and this notification is in regards to how to crack UPSC CSE channel, which is India's largest learning platform. And you have to go ahead with the subscription, and once you go ahead with the subscription, you can have access unlimited live and recorded courses from India's best educators. And the privileges you would get once you subscribe is that you will have a daily live classes wherein you can chat with your educator, engage in discussions, ask your doubts, and also be part of answer polls. You also have the live test and quizzes wherein you can evaluate your preparation with our regular mock test and quizzes and get detailed analysis on your performance. You also have the structured courses. All our courses are structured in line with your exam syllabus to help you best prepare. And you also have the unlimited access, that is upon subscription you get access to all our live and recorded courses wherein you can watch it from your mobile or from your laptop. You also have the top educators at Unacademy, and all these are the top educators: Roman Sainism, Runal Patel, Ayush Sangya and various others. Along with them you have all these Jatin Verma, Dr. Siddharth Arora, Shiv Prasad, and all these are the top educators at Unacademy. You have the courses at UPSC CSE English, that is polity, history, current affairs, economy. You have geography, optional courses. You also have the UPSC CSE batches, environment and ecology, science and technology. Apart from this, you have courses on governance, practice and strategy, CSAT paper, ethics, integrity and aptitude, Indian society, social issues, and also essay writing, internal security, and answer writing courses. And above all, you also have the interview preparation course also in the UPSC CSE. And you are, in regards to the UPSC CSE subscription, you have 12 months and also 24-month subscription. The 12-month subscription, the original price is 40,000 and you can go ahead with subscribing using my code SBT10, and once you use my code SBT10 you will get 10% off on the 40,000 and the amount would be later on 36,000. And for 24 months the original price is 48,000, and upon subscription using my code SBT10 you will get additional 10% off on the 48,000, and the discounted amount would be 43,200. And now it is very important that you look at the price what you are paying for 24 months. You are paying for 24 months only what you would be paying for 12 months plus 1 month. That is, for 12 months the original price is 40,000 and for the 1 month it is 8,000. So 40,000 plus 8,000 you would be paying for the 24 months. So the Unacademy is is providing you 2 months with 48,000, wherein the actual price is only, what do you say, you will be paying for 12 months plus 8 months. And upon subscribing by using my code SBT10 you would get discount, and then you would pay, or you can pay only 43,200. So you are getting maximum benefit of taking ahead with or subscribing with 24 months. So please do take the benefit and then subscribe for 24 months and then go ahead with live classes of mine, and not only mine but also all the other educators who would be going ahead with all the courses. So take the maximum benefit with go ahead with subscribing 24 months. And in regards to the topic, that is the Hindu analysis of the Hindu newspaper. So the reason why this video is, or this session is, because I would be taking up the analysis of the Hindu newspaper of the few of the news items wherein it could be useful for the prelims and also for the mains. Because in our class or in this video we would be, I would be focusing on the keywords wherein they would be very important for the prelims factual point of view and also analytical point of view, and I would go ahead with the in-depth analysis which are or which is essential for the descriptive, that is answer writing for the mains 2020. So it is very useful for you this session, and then I would get into the topic, that is what we would discuss today, that is SARS-CoV-2 variant and about Nizamuddin and humane manner. So when we get into the SARS-CoV-2 variant, that means it is very clear that now the one which is really disturbing or which is creating panic and then it is spreading virulent is the SARS-CoV-2. So it is important that we need to know a little bit about SARS-CoV-2, how it works and all that. So ICMR, that is Indian Council of Medical Research, ICMR has said that there are three quasi subspecies of SARS-CoV-2 in circulation in India. So this is very important factual data which will be useful for you for the prelims 2020. So ICMR has said that a mixture of three quasi subspecies of SARS-CoV-2 are in circulation in India, and that is what is making very difficult for the researchers and also in regards to the scientists to go ahead with finding or to go ahead with the genome sequencing of the SARS-CoV-2, because there is a mixture of three quasi subspecies. This is the what is a disturbing factor for the scientists and the researchers. And these imported variants, why we are saying imported, definitely they are imported because it is not within what you say from within the country, but it is from China or the Wuhan district of Hubei province, and these imported variants showed no differences from how they behaved in the place of origin. That means whatever now we are going ahead with the SARS-CoV-2 is affecting or infecting many patients in India. What ICMR says is that they have shown no differences. This is important. Have shown no differences from how they behaved in the place of origin. That means when we go ahead with the genome sequencing, you will understand from where it has been, the virus has originated, and then now it shows that the imported variants, that is the SARS-CoV-2, is not showing any differences. That means it is showing the same kind of symptomatics or same kind of what you say genome sequencing, that what it has behaved in the place of origin. So the place of origin is definitely the Wuhan district of Hubei province. So slowly the ICMR is trying to understand better about the virus. So this is what is important. Sequencing of the genome of the SARS-CoV-2 is very important to make sure that we get or we understand better about the SARS-CoV-2, so that we will be in a position to make sure that how best we can go ahead with the clinically tested drugs, initially with the experimental basis onto the humans, that is the healthy volunteers, on and later on to the animals, and then that the further step would be the clinically tested drugs and then approved by the WHO. And these imported variants, as it says once again, they are showing the same kind of behavior what the virus was in Wuhan, and scientists are yet to classify a SARS-CoV-2 variant as an Indian strain. That means as of now the strain is same or the variant is same as what it has originated in Wuhan, and scientists now, Indian scientists, or it is that the overall they are yet to classify a SARS-CoV-2 variant. That means a new variant is not yet been what you say taken into consideration by the SARS, because through the sequencing they are trying to get that it is same as that it was in the Wuhan, or Wuhan strain itself is now existing and it is not as an Indian strain. And then R. Ganga Hetkar, the head of the ICMR, that is Indian Council of Medical Research, that is Epidemiology and Communicable Disease 1 division, has said that India's COVID-19 cases are mainly from the people who have the travel history. That we are very well aware that it is only because of the people who have traveled into India from various other countries have actually, what you say, infected the one whom they have communicated or with whom they have actually moved along with them in a couple of weeks time. So that was the point, that this virus has spread, and this virus is not, what you say, within India, that is Indian strain as of now what they are trying to make. It is just, what you say, the virus which has been brought into India from outside because of the people who have the travel history. This is what the ICMR is saying, and these imported variants show no difference as they behaved in the place of origin, as we have discussed. So the imported variant is the one which is the Wuhan variant. Is not that they are unable to find out whether still the variant or the strain is the Indian strain. And in a large country like India, it is difficult to predict an accurate trend. Why? Because we still don't have enough time gap between the upswings of cases. That means the difference of the cases or the increase of the cases we look at, there is not much of, what you say, time gap. And when there is not much of time gap, wherein we did try to, what you say, restrict it by going ahead with a national lockdown. And because of the national lockdown, it was very imperative that now we are able to contain it, and this containing is what is happening is that it is, if it is very difficult to go ahead with the accurate trend. Why accurate trend? Because of the trend, that is the trend about what? Trend about progression of COVID-19. Progression, what progression we are talking about? It is in regards to the variant, it is in regards to the strain about the virus which was originated in Wuhan, and then whether it is as same as in the India now what the virus is spreading to many of the patients. And the progression in terms of the cases could not be compared. Why? With any other country. Because people, the way we are going ahead with, or like we are making sure that we are maintaining or adhering to the physical distance or the social distancing, and that is creating a lot of, what you say, a kind of stress onto whether it is an Indian strain or else Wuhan strain. The strain is still the Wuhan strain itself, because there we do not have enough time gap because of the national lockdown what we have gone ahead. The progression in terms of cases could not be compared. That is very important. They are unable to compare it with any other country as of now, because people should be looking at the risk of exposure, and then what is important is they are going ahead with adhering to the physical distancing. And that is what is in regards to the variant. This is the SARC variant, wherein we were talking about what ICMR has said, that, and it says that imported variants showed no differences from how they behaved in the place of origin. That means the kind of Indian strain is act as equivalent now to the one which has been originated in Wuhan, and then it is not really, what you say, the strain is changing. The reason why strain is not changing, because we have this accurate trend is unable to be, or unable to be identified of the COVID-19, because we still don't have enough time gap. Because of not having enough time gap in the upswings of the cases, we still have the same kind of, what you say, strain. Probably it is changing, but we are unable to go ahead with the test because of the, we are not having the time gap. There could be a chance that the strain might have developed a new one. I mean, the virus, that is COVID-19, SARS-CoV-2, has developed a new strain also, it could be. And there is a possibility that it is mutating so that it is having a different strain. But as of now, ICMR says that it is the same strain what it has been at the place of the origin, that is in the Wuhan. And we also have an, what is the news in regards to the Tablighi Jamaat, which the conference has taken place in Delhi, that is in Nizamuddin. That you have that conference which has gone ahead is a congregation of more than close to thousands of people, and that has taken up, or it was done because it was a congregation, it was an, what is a puritanical Islamic sect wherein they have come together, and then they have been, and a conference was taking place, and they have started this, or this conference has taken place, or it was started before the lockdown itself. So before the lockdown, so what has happened is they were unable to move out. So when they were unable to move out, so they were congregated at one place, and that has created that they were closely packed, and they did not maintain the social distancing. Hence, the virus, that is the SARS-CoV-2, has spread, and that is a worry, that is a cause now. And this Markaz Nizamuddin is a place, and it is an international headquarters of Tablighi Jamaat. What is Tablighi Jamaat? It is a puritanical Islamic sect. It is puritanical Islamic sect, which is, or which had a conference at Markaz Nizamuddin, and this is an international headquarters of Tablighi Jamaat. So it is an Islamic sect where the conference has taken place. That is not at all a worry, but the people there wherein they were locked, they were all together because of the lockdown, has created a lot of problem in the country and to the world also. The one from where the foreigners, many foreigners also were there from various other countries in this conference. So those people who have left to the different countries or different states of within India is also, what you say, a cause of concern that they would spread the SARS-CoV-2 or the COVID-19 to various other people unknowingly. Unknowingly is the biggest worry now. And a large number of them were stuck in the premises because the country went down for lockdown on March 21st. And this has come to the limelight, and then Delhi police has on March 31st, that is yesterday, registered a case against the Maulana Saad and others. Why they have registered the case? Why the Delhi police has registered a case? Because they haven't, what do you say, maintained the physical distancing. They haven't maintained the physical distancing. They haven't restricted the gatherings, and they haven't looked at the safety measures which were important, or which the government or the central government and the state governments have actually come in, have been taken up in regards to the national lockdown. So on what basis the Delhi police have, what do you say, registered a case, is the biggest point in regards to the prelims point of view. Because as soon as the, what is, national lockdown has come into existence, we have seen various other acts have also come into existence, and one of the act which is, what do you say, now on what basis the Delhi police have registered a case on Maulana Saad and others is based on the Epidemic Disease Act 1897. Epidemic Disease Act 1897, and then they have registered especially on the section 3, based on the section 3 of the Epidemic Disease Act 1897, which along with the, not only section 3 but along with the section 269, 270, 271 and 120b of the IPC. That means Epidemic Disease Act 1897 has come into existence, or it was invoked because of the national lockdown, to make sure that social distancing is, what do you say, will be maintained, or social distancing will be, what do you say, truly implemented. If not implemented, Epidemic Disease Act, we have seen Essential Commodities Act, we have seen Indian Penal Code Act, we have also seen Criminal Procedures Code, and then we have also seen that National Disaster Management Act. So many acts have been invoked once the nation was under lockdown. And once the nation was under lockdown, it was very clear that we wanted to make sure that stricter measures in regards to the maintaining social distance, and whoever do not maintain social distance, it is understood that all these acts will come into existence, and they would be booked under various acts as per the situation demands. And that is the what the Delhi police have gone ahead with, registering a case against Maulana Saad based on the section 3 of the Epidemic Disease Act 1897. Again, this is very important for prelims point of view. And then the news, or the what officials have said, we will look into it. According to the officials, the Islamic Center in the national capital has turned out to be the latest hotspot of the COVID-19. That is a worry to the entire nation and to the what do you say, various countries which are surrounding India, and the various countries which are neighboring India is the biggest threat. And this is going to be a big task, a humongous task to the Indian government and to the various other governments to tackle the spread of the COVID-19. It has become a hotspot of COVID-19. And then more than 400 people are with the symptoms because of the congregation of the conference since since the national lockdown has been, what do you say, initiated, and they were admitted in various hospital, and over many of them have been, what do you say, close to 1,000 place have been quarantined in a government run facilities wherein they have been provided in Delhi. So now the point is that they have been quarantined, but how many people have been, what do you say, affected by this congregation is the biggest question mark, and it is tough to identify them now. And hundreds of others who returned home is a cause of concern, because once they have returned home unknowingly, because even Delhi police could not identify it, or the government was unaware of it, that there was a conference, and then they were close to so many thousands of people who were being congregated or agglomerated at that position or in that, what is a big question mark. And once they have traveled across or they have returned to home, that means they have carried the virus to various states across the country. That is the biggest worry, and it is really concerning to each and every individual, because they will definitely unknowingly, I'm reiterating my statement or word, unknowingly they would be spreading or infecting n number of people, n number of people across the country. And what did the center say is, according to the center, many participants could not leave all the means of transport because it was upgrade. And once it was, what you say, stopped on March 24th, what was happening is they were trying to make, or they tried to make special arrangements with the permission from the authorities. And now, because they were trying to move from, what do you say, the Delhi Nizamuddin place to various other place, and that was a cause of concern. And what is important is this close community interaction was the worry, that what has taken place during the prayer times, and then the dining, and then travel among the Jamaat followers have put them totally under a high risk of contagion. That means they would be spreading this virus virulent, and that is the problem to everyone, and not only to everyone but to their lives also. So the government of the, what is it, Delhi, and the central government is worried about the lives of the people who were part of the conference, and also the government is worried about the people whom or who will be getting into contact with these people once they are moved into different states, and that is that it is high risk of contagion. And participants at the congregation included from various states in India, that is Uttar Pradesh, Assam, Jammu and Kashmir, and Kerala. Now it is very clear by this, what do you say, what the center has made the statement, the virus will now have or had spread across the length and breadth of the country, across the length and breadth of the country, that now the infection will take place very violent. And then again, to keep a check on the one who were part of the congregation, and then they have moved into different states, and then make them or identify them and then quarantine will be a very big task. And this is what is a new step for the worst to take place again. And there was a Singapore based businessman who had died on March 26 because he was also part of the congregation, and then he has traveled across, what is air, train, and road to Delhi, Uttar Pradesh, and back to Jammu and Kashmir. Again, now the cause of concern is when we are talking about this air, train, and road, that is the worry, because we do not know who were the one who were associated or traveled with this person in the, I mean, through the air, that is through the flight, and then train, and then road. So all these people who have been, what do you say, part and parcel of being associated with this person could be infected. And at least 300 people who came in contact with him have been put under quarantine. That is what only the one who have identified has been quarantined, but the one who were not identified and unknowingly nobody knows that that person was carrying the symptoms of the COVID-19, and then it spreads very violent. And then this shows very clear that there is an exponential increase in the cases. I mean, the infectious cases in India. We know that Kerala is with almost 400, over 400, and then Maharashtra has crossed 300 as on, what do you say, yesterday. That is yesterday. And we have seen the Tamil Nadu and Karnataka which are also crossing 100. So the worst is like Maharashtra. If you look at the, what do you say, the map, Maharashtra is the one, and then the Kerala one, and when we know that Karnataka, and then even in regards to Tamil Nadu has been hit badly. Along with that, we see this, what do you say, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, Gujarat, and mildly it has started even in Jammu and Kashmir and then Ladakh also, and to some extent even Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. The left out not much widely affected is, as of now, as of this, what you say is that Chhattisgarh, Orissa, Jharkhand, and little bit again in regards to the northeastern states. But even we see West Bengal and then Bihar is also being affected. So this is the entire country's impact which has taken place and which is the hotspots now. Now, along with this, now we have seen Delhi is also a big hotspot now in regards to the exponential rise in regards to the COVID-19. And then there is one more news in regards to Supreme Court has given an order. Why Supreme Court has given an order? Supreme Court has given an order in regards to the migrants, how the migrants have to be treated. The Supreme Court is giving an order. The reason why it is in the news, because these were the one, that is the migrants who were wanting to move out of the state wherein they were working earlier, because they wanted to live a better life and they wanted to go ahead with having what do you say, salary or job and the salary and the better living. But because of the national lockdown, many of the production units and the manufacturing sectors and the work in regards to the hotels trade, every or else tourism has been shut down, and because of this shutdown, the migrants or the workers, migrant workers were forced to go to their respective homes, and that has created a lot of, what is a panic, because once they started moving from one state to their home state, then they again social distancing norm was broken and they were all gushing together. They were all, what do you say, being congregated again when they were getting into the buses, and then when they were moving or they were walking along the roadside. So that has created a lot of panic, and then because of that, the home ministry has given an order saying that you have to block the national highways and make sure that the migrants are not getting into the other states, so that the states which, from which states they are or from which states they are moving ahead, those particular states should make sure that they provide the, what do you say, quarantine camps wherein they would be quarantined, they would be given food, they would be given shelter, and through this they can make sure that the spread of virus do not take place. And that was going on, but there were few critics that these quarantine camps were ill equipped and they were not being provided with, what do you say, a good response. So that was the petition which was filed, and then later on, this is the petition what we are talking about, the petition which was filed by advocates Alok Srivastava and Rashmi Bansal. So they have gone ahead with the petition in the Supreme Court. They have gone ahead with the petition in the Supreme Court saying that the direction to the government, and then what direction they would wish to give to the government was, it was heart-wrenching and inhuman plight of thousands of migrant workers. So what they say is, it was an inhuman plight what they have experienced when the migrants were moving from one state to their respective or hometowns or home states. So as it was inhuman, the petition was filed with the Supreme Court, and then the Supreme Court on March 31st, 2020 has asked or ordered the police and the authorities to treat the migrant workers in a human manner. So look at it, the kind of treatment which is supposed to be given even to the migrants at the time of what you say COVID-19 or the pandemic, or in regards to the national lockdown, wherein the social distancing has to be maintained, but they have broken it, that social distancing, and then they have what you say, we're trying to get into their respective states, not at all abiding by the physical distancing, but still the court says to the or orders to the police and the authorities that they should be treated in a human manner. This is important, in a human manner. And court had ordered the government to ensure that the workers stopped from crossing the interstate borders. So court has very strategically, very what do you say, it has given the directions to the state that the migrant workers be stopped from crossing the interstate, but they should be given shelter and food. That is very important. They should be given shelter and food. They should be quarantined for 14 days, but provided shelter and food should be what do you say, utmost necessary to be provided to the migrant workers, and they have to be treated in a human manner. That is very important. And the court has directed the government, who is represented by the government is the Solicitor General, that is Tushar Mehta. Please, what do you say, make it a point in regards to whether if it is asked in the prelims factual base, that to set up an expert committee. This is very important again in regards to analytical point of view. Analytical point of view, the court has directed to the government, that is to the Solicitor General Tushar Mehta, to set up an expert committee and a dedicated portal. So they have ordered for two. What is that? One is expert committee and the other one is dedicated portal within 24 hours. Why? To make sure that to disseminate authentic information about the virus and stop the spread of fake news. So at this juncture, there is a probability of that the fake news being what do you say, emerging at a very virulent pace, the way the virus is spreading. So the fake news has to be stopped, the spread of fake news has to be stopped, and then authentic information has to be provided to the each and every citizen about the virus. And for that, a expert committee and a dedicated portal has to be what do you say, set up by the government. And that was what you say, the Supreme Court has directed to the government representative, that is the Solicitor General Tushar Mehta. And then bench also has wanted, or through the video conferencing, when the entire discussion happened through the video conferencing, it asked the government to urge community and religious leaders. So again, the Supreme Court is not just what do you say, asking the government and then asking the police officials to treat them in a humane manner, but it is also, look at it, the Supreme Court trying to bring in the community and the religious leaders. That is very important, how best we can try to control the situation or make sure that the situation or the kind of what you say, the making sure that the highways are being blocked or locked is for the benefit of the people or is for the benefit of the migrants. And then the migrants will definitely listen, or they will understand when it is being told to the migrant workers by the community and religious leaders. Look at the way very, I mean, importantly, it is required at this junction that we involve the community and the religious leaders to make sure that they understand better, or they can talk better, or they can interact better with the migrant workers, to speak the migrant workers and lodge them in the shelter. That is to be in the quarantine for 14 days, with providing them the best shelter and also in regards to the good food, and then treating them with a humane manner. And then this bench was led by the Chief Justice of India, that is Sharad A. Bobde. And he said, considering the situation, the state government and the union territories should, what do you say, engage with the volunteers along with the people. That means, please do understand, here the Chief Justice of India Sharad A. Bobde is making a statement that the state governments or the union territories should engage volunteers along with the police to supervise the welfare activities. So when we look at this, look at what do you say, when you look at it very keenly, you will understand that what the Supreme Court, or how the Supreme Court is getting various section of people into the work, or into the entire scenario, or into the system wherein the social distancing has to be taken into consideration. What is that? That is, the community is taken into consideration, the religious leaders are taken into consideration, and also the volunteers are taken into consideration. And look, and this is how I'm trying to make you explain, because while you are writing an answer in the mains, and when a question is asked in the prelims in regards to the factual data, then, or in regards to analytical data, then you will understand it better how the Supreme Court has involved the community, religious leaders, and the volunteers. And there is certainly the purpose behind it, and that is what, to make sure that they supervise the welfare activities for the migrants. That is all. I mean, the community, religious leaders, and volunteers. The Supreme Court wants the police and the government to involve all these, what do you say, people, with or in regards to handling the situation of migrant workers. Because overall if you look at the ultimate is that there should be human manner, and human manner will definitely take place, not only with, what you say, or else in addition with, not only with center and the police, government and the police and the authorities, but also with the community and the religious leaders, and also with the volunteers. The smooth functioning will take place. And the conclusion is that, or else the next point is that, the Chief Justice of India has also said that Section 188 of the IPC makes it penal offense to disobey orders. So look at that. Supreme Court has asked the police and the authorities to treat the migrants in a human manner, and to go ahead with, or to implement, or to have that human manner touch, which has to come into existence at this time, could happen because, what the Supreme Court thought is, could happen because of the community and religious leaders, by the volunteers. And the other side of it is, what the Supreme Court is saying is, section 188 of IPC makes it penal offense whoever disobeys orders which are made by the government authorities. So look at it. So what do you say, practically the decision is made, or the, what do you say, orders are made by the Supreme Court or the bench, that it is wanting the police and the authorities to treat the migrant workers human, by involving the community and the religious leaders and the volunteers, as well as it is also, I mean, hinting a point to the, what do you say, the migrant workers, or to the religious leaders, and to the, what do you say, community leaders. If at all the migrant workers do not abide by the government authorities, or they are not, what do you say, making sure that they restrict to the quarantine, or to the 14 days quarantine in the camps, quarantine camps, then section 188 would be imposed, and it is a penal offense. And it is not that then the government is not held responsible, because of the national lockdown, as I said, Essential Commodities Act, Epidemics Disease Act, and then Indian Penal Code Act, Criminal Procedures Code Act, and then even in regards to the Disaster Management Act. All these acts are, what do you say, they are in functional, they have been invoked. So these will give, I mean, these acts will give more powers to the government to implement stricter the social distancing, to implement stricter measure, that is social distancing. Physical, I mean, distancing is imperative at this moment to cut the chain, or break the chain of the transmission of the COVID-19. So this is what we have discussed in regards to the prelims, and in regards to having a better understanding about the mains. Please do understand, from prelims point of view, whatever I've told in regards to the invoking of Essential Commodities Act, and also in regards to the, we were talking about the Epidemics Disease Act, and also in regards to the IPC Act, Indian Penal Code, and then Criminal Procedure Act, and then in regards to the uh, Disaster Management Act. So all these are again important while you look at for prelims point of view. These are very, very important because you need to understand, you need to know what are the acts which have been introduced because of the national lockdown, or to implement stricter or to focus on the social distancing. Which among the following acts were invoked by the central government during the national lockdown? If this is a question, it is an analytical question, and then you should not lose even one mark out of it. So the entire session of my video has made you more equipped in regards to the prelims 2020 and also in regards to the mains 2020. I hope my video, or the way we have looked into various what is the keywords which will be helpful for you as a civil servant aspirant to take up the examination prelims 2020 with a high confidence, has really, I feel it has helped you. And then I feel that this, I mean, the entire session was informative, knowledgeable for to you. And then please do like it, subscribe it, and then hit the bell button for the further notification while you're watching the YouTube channel, that is Let's Crack UPSC CSE English. And if you haven't subscribed the channel UPSC CSE English, please do subscribe the channel using my code SBT10, that is Sandeep Bhushan Thummala 10, and then you will get 10% discount upon the price of the subscription. So go ahead with subscribing for 24 months, and then get 10% discount. And then see you tomorrow. Thank you. See you tomorrow at this time.